Welcome to a world where elegance meets earthiness, where rustic charm is reimagined with refined taste. Pastoral glamour isn't just a design trend, it's a celebration of heritage filtered through a lens of high style. In this video, we explore how to create a home that is both grounded in tradition and elevated by luxury. At its core, pastoral glamour blends countryside nostalgia with sophisticated design. Think weathered wood meeting silk drapes, or antique heirlooms displayed on sleek marble. This style celebrates a lifestyle rooted in simplicity, but with an appreciation for the finer things that make a home truly remarkable. Color is central to the pastoral glamorous aesthetic. Muted greens, creamy ivories, dusty rose, and golden ochres evoke natural landscapes while providing a luxurious canvas. These colors reflect harvested fields, morning fog, and old linen, timeless yet chic, understated but never dull. From hand-loomed linen to velvet with vintage flair, textiles are essential. Layer throws, draperies, and upholstery with a mix of rugged textures and soft finishes. Think embroidered table runners, lace-trimmed napkins, and faded floral tapestries, all chosen to echo both comfort and refinement. Look for pieces with character, maybe a carved farmhouse table passed down generations, or a wingback chair reupholstered in designer fabric. Pastoral glamour isn't about pristine perfection, it's about patina, stories, and silhouettes that carry history yet sit effortlessly in modern interiors. Wood is more than just material, it's storytelling. Exposed beams, reclaimed barn boards, and polished walnut floors all ground a space with warmth. Choose finishes that reveal the grain, embracing imperfections that speak to age and authenticity. Display collections that reflect personal history or cultural roots. Transferware, antique books, family photos in gilded frames, each adds a narrative. The glamour here comes not from cost, but curation. Thoughtfully chosen pieces with meaning elevate even the simplest rooms. Lighting should be both functional and theatrical. Wrought iron chandeliers, glass lanterns, and brass sconces cast soft, warm glows. Pair rustic bases with silk shades, or suspend antique lanterns over a modern island. Lighting becomes a bridge between eras. Display heirloom china or curated vintage porcelain on open shelves or behind glass doors. Blue and white patterns evoke refined tradition, while layering with simple ceramics and stoneware brings balance. It's timeless dining charm with high-end nuance. Hidden appliances, elegant faucets, and minimalist fixtures can all blend into a pastoral setting when chosen thoughtfully. Stainless steel doesn't have to be cold, it can shine against butcher block countertops and traditional cabinetry, bringing balance to utility and beauty. Shiplap, wainscoting, and lime wash finishes breathe depth into your walls. Consider soft floral wallpaper with vintage motifs for added romance. Even plain white walls become elegant when paired with architectural molding or aged bronze picture rails. Pastoral Glamour blurs the line between indoors and out. Fill vases with fresh-cut blooms from the garden. Use botanical prints as art. Incorporate potted herbs into kitchen decor. These organic touches are not only beautiful, they connect the home to the rhythms of nature. Create a kitchen that's both inviting and sophisticated. Soapstone countertops, open shelves with copper pots, and a farmhouse sink grounded by vintage-style tile create a warm backdrop for hosting, cooking, and gathering. Even transitional spaces like mudrooms deserve attention. Add built-in benches with tufted cushions, classic checkerboard flooring, and antique hooks for coats and hats. Function meets form in this forgotten space, making even everyday moments feel curated. Start with a vintage bed frame, add layered linens and soft neutrals, then elevate with silk pillowcases or an antique quilt. Hang botanical sketches above the headboard and use sconces for moody light. The bedroom becomes a sanctuary of taste and tradition. A fireplace should be more than a heat source, it's the soul of the room. Whether it's an old stone surround or a sleek modern insert framed in reclaimed timber, it grounds the space. Dress the mantel with antique candlesticks or vintage oil paintings for pastoral drama. Freestanding clawfoot tubs, brass fixtures, and marble surfaces transform the bathroom into a retreat. Add a wooden stool for linens, woven baskets for storage, and a chandelier overhead. The result, a blend of spa and countryside tradition. Select art that nods to nature and tradition. Think pastoral oil paintings, sepia-toned photographs of farmlands, or charcoal sketches of horses and barns. Elegant framing and strategic placement turn rustic themes into gallery-worthy moments. Create a cozy reading nook with a classic leather chair, wood-paneled walls, and shelves filled with vintage books. Use velvet curtains to soften the space. A brass desk lamp and monogrammed accessories inject sophistication into a space rooted in old-world charm. Whether you're hosting a family feast or a romantic dinner, set the table with embroidered linens, heirloom flatware, and vintage candle holders. Incorporate seasonal florals and fruits as centerpieces. Your tablescape becomes a living homage to abundance and grace. Introduce glamour subtly with gold-framed mirrors, candlesticks, or drawer pulls. When surrounded by wood, linen, and stone, these details shimmer without overpowering. It's about balance, the glitter of luxury against the calm of countryside textures. Layering is key in pastoral glamour. Rugs over stone floors, linen over cotton, old next to new. Each layer adds warmth, dimension, and story. The goal isn't clutter, it's richness. Every item should feel like it belongs, even if it was discovered decades apart. A butler's pantry adds both charm and practicality. Glass cabinets, beadboard walls, and elegant lighting offer a nostalgic nod, while providing space for fine china and entertaining essentials. It's a hidden gem of heritage and luxury. Wicker, rattan, and seagrass baskets serve both form and function. Use them to hold throws, logs, or even laundry, keeping the space feeling organic. Paired with luxe materials like velvet or silk, they bring pastoral depth to modern interiors. Incorporate traditional prints like tartan, toile, or gingham sparingly but impactfully. A tartan blanket on a French-style bench, or toile curtains against weathered walls, can infuse your home with timeless character and subtle drama. The right scent transforms a space. Choose candles or diffusers with notes of lavender, leather, cedar, or bergamot, scents that feel both fresh and comforting. They lend invisible elegance, adding to the sensory richness of a well-designed room. Don't overlook hardware. A vintage doorknob, a brass cabinet pull, or even hand-forged hinges add nuance and intentionality. These subtle details whisper refinement, proving that glamour isn't loud, it's layered in the quietest places. Pastoral glamour is inherently seasonal. Embrace this with rotating accessories, velvet in winter, linen in summer, dried florals in fall. Switch out throws and cushions, adjust candle scents, and refresh florals. The home remains dynamic, always rooted, never stagnant. Pastoral glamour often draws from family traditions. Pass down a handmade quilt, repaint a grandmother's hutch, or frame handwritten recipes. This style thrives when it's personal, when the decor reflects not just taste, but lineage and love. Pastoral Glamour is about living with intention, celebrating where we come from while curating beauty in the present. It marries rustic honesty with polished elegance, turning every room into a chapter of your home's evolving story. Heritage is honored, luxury is embraced, and the result is timeless, soulful style.